Hello, Iona College, and welcome to Lights Out Sports. I'm your host, Rob Boncardo, and we're back right now with our NFL opening week season preview. And guys, I thought we should just talk about a couple of big games this week. Obviously, Armand, I wanted to touch on one of your favorite players who's coming into the league this year, Jameis Winston. And this Sunday at 4:25, he will be playing the number 2 and Heisman winner, Marcus Mariota, in the game. And you know what? There's going to be a great game between Tennessee and the Buccaneers, but I'm taking Winston in this one.
Rob, it's not going to be a great game. It's going to be a blowout, okay? Jameis is just going to throw for 300. No, he's not going to throw for 300, let's be honest. He'll throw for around like 200 and like 2 touchdowns. Give the guy some credit.
I mean, but I like Mariota a little bit in this one. Don't get me wrong. You know what? I know you don't like my case about Marcus Mariota, but he did look a little bit good come preseason. I mean, he had a couple errors, kind of picked it up towards the end of the preseason. Winston, the same thing. But we look at coming into week 1, Winston surrounded. He got Mike Evans, you have Vincent Jackson, you have Doug Martin. So he kind of has a whole offense set already around him. So, I mean, that's why I'm taking the Bucs.
That's why it's going to be a blowout.
I don't think it's going to be a blowout. I mean...
Well, my definition of blowout's probably going to say 23-10. It's not really a blowout, but...
But, I mean, do you think Winston's going to come out strong, or are we going to see, like, a little bit of the rookie, you know, the kind of miscues you kind of have as a rookie from nerves and stuff coming into your first game?
Well, I'm not going to sit here and say he's going to have a Peyton Manning-like rookie season, but, I mean... I think he'll have a couple of miscues. He might throw one pick, but there's no reason why he can't rip apart this Tennessee defense. Tennessee has one of the worst defenses in the NFL. Mm-hmm. So, if anything, Jameis should probably have one of his better games of his career this season right now.
And Terrence, who are you going to in this one?
I definitely got to go with the Bucs in this one because I definitely have to agree with Armand how, Titans defense aren't that great and everything, but he's not going to, Jameis Winston's not going to have the best rookie year, obviously. He's not going to come out like an Andrew Luck, obviously, but, he'll probably throw maybe 1 or 2 picks or so, but, rookie mistakes. But, honestly, I see no reason why he has no reason to throw at least 2 touchdowns in the game, especially with the Titans.
Oh, my bad, Terrence.
No, it's okay.
I'll tell you this, too. If he throws a pick, it's going to be earlier in the game. I think the one good thing about Jameis Winston is Jameis, even in college, he would always get in his troubles in the first quarter. Mm-hmm. Always. And he always finishes strong. And that's the type of quarterback you want to have. He's always poised. He's always on his teammate's case. Like, he's always trying to better himself. And he's got the confidence to get that egg going. And I think that's what's the difference between him and Marcus Mariota. I think Jameis knows what he can do. Marcus Mariota is always very hesitant in the pocket.
Mm-hmm. And I'm a little bit nervous, because Mariota coming from Oregon, obviously, Armand, that West Coast offense, mostly running the ball, quarterback doing a lot of runs, but it's a lot of running game, especially with Oregon. That's their game plan all the time. So you kind of think, how are the Titans going to be with Mariota's throwing the ball a lot more? He doesn't throw it. He's never really thrown it like 30 to 35 times in a game. So you kind of wonder how it's going to be in this week 1.
I think it's going to be very similar to if you were to watch the San Francisco 49ers and Colin Kaepernick.
Yeah.
Because once the Tennessee offensive line's not very good either, and just like the San Francisco, Colin Kaepernick's always dropping back and running around looking for dear life. I mean, it's going to be very similar with Mariota this year. He's going to try and replicate Kaepernick's game. I don't think it's going to be as good as Kaepernick. I don't think Kaepernick's that good in general, but I don't think that's what I'd see a close replication of.
Okay. And, I mean, other games this upcoming week, guys. We have Thursday Night Football, the defending Super Bowl champions, the Patriots, playing the Pittsburgh Steelers. And, guys, we heard last week Tom Brady's suspension is overturned. He will be playing versus Big Ben. And, I mean, this is going to be another good game. I mean, we look at the Steelers. I mean, obviously the biggest loss for them is Le'Veon Bell is going to be out with his suspension. Kind of kills the running game, so you got to rely on Big Ben and Antonio Brown mostly this whole game. With the Patriots, though, we look at their side, coming back from that Super Bowl win. But now you look at it, Darrelle Revis isn't with the team. Probably their best defensive player last year. And, I mean...
And Wilfork's gone.
Wilfork's gone.
Commander of that defense.
So we kind of look at... You know what? There's going to be points scored, but New England, Tom Brady's going to be able to score points. But how is the defense going to be able to hold up versus the Steelers' offense?
Listen, I think New England's going to win this one. One, because, and also for Pittsburgh, Martavis Bryant is also injured. He's their big red zone target at 6'4". It's a lot of size in the back of the zone. And then also the loss of Dick LeBeau, the best defensive coordinator in the history of the NFL. His absence for the Steelers this year is going to be key and pivotal, and Troy Polamalu's gone, so
Polamalu left.
You have to look at this Pittsburgh team. You don't I mean, they went to the playoffs last year, but they can easily turn around from being 10-6 to 6-10.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, so both teams we kind of look at have actually taken a hit then on defense.
I mean, but the Patriots, they have like that kid, what's his name, Logan Ryan. I mean, they have some good corners. They have young corners. That's why they gave up on Revis. They have a lot of young. They're trying to go through a refranchisement on the defensive end. They're trying to rebuild. I mean, you have one of the best defensive linemen in Chandler Jones, sack machine, Jamie Collins at the middle linebacker. There's a lot of depth and young depth for the Patriots. I think more of the concern this year will be on the offensive end, believe it or not. I actually like this Patriot defense.
Yeah, with the running back situation, you know, Ridley and Shane Vereen aren't there, and New England, when you look at them last year,
all they
the
did was
season,
run. Exactly.
They switched the running game though. It could be this guy and this guy one week. LeGarrette Blount's taking over this week. LeGarrette Blount's the starter this week. He's the backup now. So Bill Belichick highly was regarded to focus on his running game.
Exactly.
So now it's back to Tom Brady going to Rob Gronkowski this whole time, because you know what? Patriots have some great wide receivers. They have Julian Edelman, but Rob Gronkowski is going to have to be able to lead that whole offense with Brady. That's where everything's going to be going through.
And Brady's numbers last year were kind of inconsistent too. I mean, he struggled in the beginning and then good at the middle, and at the end he didn't. His yardage was only like around 190 a game. I mean, he wasn't as Brady-like. So I mean, I don't know. This whole offensive scheme is going to be a little bit interesting to see.
But the thing is, though, I really can't doubt the New England Patriots offense this season at all, especially coming off of a Super Bowl win. But I really can't doubt them, especially with Rob Gronkowski. I mean, yeah, both teams took a big hit defensively, but the Patriots offense, they're still great, though. They are a great team offensively.
They are, but there's one thing I want to challenge about your opinion right there. They're playing in the best defensive division in all of football in my eyes. The New York Jets, the Miami Dolphins, the Buffalo Bills have 3 of the top 5 best defenses, and I'll argue that with anybody here right now. So.
And you have to put in now with that division, Brady's going to be getting hit a lot more.
Absolutely.
Tom Brady has had great offensive protection on the line for him.
Yeah, but you're playing
Rex Ryan. Yeah. Rex Ryan all the time has been able to get to him. Todd Bowles is going to be able to get to him. And Sue being added to that Dolphins offense, that offense Dolphins has just risen in top 5
defense.
Defense.
Yeah, you said offense. Sorry, I was just helping you out there.
Especially Sue. Now imagine Sue against Brady, because we know how reckless he is. He will attack the quarterback. So Tom
Absolutely,
Brady,
and you can't forget about Cameron Wake, who's going to be right on the left side of him.
Sue might break Brady, if anything. You never know. He's a dirty player, you know.
And yeah, he's older. Brady's older in age, so he might be able to.
Maybe he'll stomp on his face.
Oh, hopefully not.
But you know,
we don't want to see that happen.
But somehow Brady finds a way to get out of tough situations like that, though. Like he escapes, like, what's it called? They have him escaping the pocket, but still he somehow manages to still give it to Gronkowski or Edelman, if anything.
Well, that's the difference between him and Peyton, I think. I think Brady, I mean, he's not really mobile, but he's a little bit more mobile than Peyton. Peyton can't move at all.
Peyton's
Peyton throws the ball anytime anybody comes to him, because Peyton cannot run for his life out of bounds.
Peyton's a smart player, though. Like, he's very balanced. You know what I mean?
He throws them floating ducks up in the air, and Demaryius Thomas somehow comes down with it.
but he, you know, he's just comfortable, though. Like, you know, he doesn't rush anything. Peyton, he's just.
Yeah, if you have the best offensive line in football, too, I think you would be a good quarterback, too, Terrence.
What, just throw the ball to anybody and pray that someone catches it?
Well, anyway, going on with some more games this week, guys. You're going to be kind of surprised, Armand, that I chose this game, but I chose the St. Louis Rams versus Seattle Seahawks.
It's going to be a great game.
Yeah, you know what? Jeff Fisher has rebuilt St. Louis defensively over the last couple years. We've seen how great the defense has been. Sam Bradford was out with the injury. Now he's on the Eagles. He gets Nick Foles. And Nick Foles, I am sold on this guy. This guy is a fantastic quarterback, and I expect him to do damage. You know what? Coming right out the back, you look at this team. Todd Gurley's going to be out for a couple weeks, but this Rams team is going to be big trouble for the Seahawks. It's not the Seahawks are winning this division right away.
Where's the game at? St. Louis or Seattle?
We're starting off in St. Louis for this game.
Honestly, St. Louis might pull out a victory here.
I still got to give it to Seattle, though.
Seattle's different when they play on the road, though.
They're extremely different, but still, I can't doubt Seattle either, though. Russell Wilson, I think, is going to have a great year this year, and Marshawn Lynch is going to be a monster as always, obviously. And Seattle's defense.
Marshawn Lynch would not. If I have Marshawn Lynch, I would not start him week 1 because he's going to have a hard time. I mean, he'll rush for like 15 and 70, but it's going to be a really hard day because that front seven for St. Louis is incredible.
They're going to have to split it up with Fred Jackson to get the ball around with the running game. It's going to be real tough. You kind of wonder how Jimmy Graham's going to do in his first start with the Seahawks.
That's big right there.
Yeah.
I think that's the reason they might pull out.
Because we look at the Seahawks, Armand, they lost some of their big wide receivers. Don't get me wrong. Doug Baldwin's good, but we look at a year ago, they lose Golden Tate to the Lions. Percy Harvin now with the Bills. And those are some big-time receivers. So Jimmy Graham kind of takes the load off. We saw how him and Drew Brees had that instant connection where they could go for about 10 to 15 touchdowns together. But now you got to hope that he could really help out. I've been hearing stuff over this offseason that he's been mostly been used for blocking and stuff. I really hope Seattle doesn't utilize him as that. Because he's a guy who will pound the ball, he can catch the ball, and he's big.
Well, a lot of teams in preseason, they don't actually practice their full, honest playbooks. I mean, they're trying to, everyone's watching preseason, they're trying to show a little deception in their identity. So when it comes around a regular season, they're going to change it up. Don't worry, Jimmy Graham will have his touches.
But this Rams team definitely should be big. Guys, I want to talk about a little bit about Todd Gurley. He tore his ACL with Georgia last year. People are talking about him being the next big running back coming up in the league. He was averaged more than 6 yards a carry in college, and this guy should be big. I mean, what are your takes on him? He has some good moves. He could get down the field. He could pound the ball. What are your intake of that?
I mean, I guess I could see it. I mean, playing in the SEC is no joke. Obviously, if you're averaging 6 yards a carry, it's for a legitimate reason. Obviously, you're the best of the best. I mean, the only thing if he stays with St. Louis for his career, he's going to be in one of the toughest divisions in all of football defensively. I mean, the 49ers have had some drawbacks, but the Cardinals are great defensively too, especially against the run. And, I mean, obviously Seattle. I think Gurley would be good. I don't think – what are you talking about here? You're thinking like a –
do you
like
see
a
him
consistent Pro Bowler every year?
Yeah, do you see him kind of because I'm hearing stuff like, oh, he's the next big thing. Like, we've had LT in the past. We've had some big running backs.
Oh, you're saying like an LT. Oh, man.
Well, I mean,
I don't know.
Nobody competes with LT, but I mean, like a running back like Frank Gore, people who could pick up yards like Sean McCoy.
I can see him as a guy getting maybe like 1,000 yards not every year, but once in a while. I don't think consistently he'll be that great now.
You still got to wait for him to get better and better as the season goes on, obviously. As
and
the
also,
year goes on, he'll be better, though.
And he got that big injury, too, so I don't know how he's going to recuperate from that.
Well, they're going to limit him. I read reports they're going to be limiting him a little bit. He's not starting in week 1. He's not going to be playing. But over the next couple weeks, they're going to limit with how much he's going to take, and then by the end of the season, they're going to have him fully taking a lot of rushes in the game. And St. Louis is going to need that because, you know what, Nick Foles is going to need a running back behind him. We saw what LeSean McCoy did for him. And if everything works out great with Gurley, this team is going to be really good for the next couple of years to come.
Well said, Robert.
One last game I think we should just talk about. Obviously, Sunday night, 8:30 game. New York Giants, Dallas Cowboys. Always a great game.
Always.
Oh, I'm excited.
Always.
I know my dad's excited, too.
Odell versus Dez.
I'm excited. My
great.
dad's excited.
Odell always surprises me. And, I mean, this Giants team, they've been all right in the preseason, but we saw later on Odell Beckham making his last couple catches with versus the New York Jets, making his first catches of the preseason. The team's going to have Victor Cruz back. Don't know if he'll be playing or if he'll be limited throughout the game. He should be big for this team, but the Cowboys, we look at them, obviously the biggest loss, DeMarco Murray, losing him to the Philadelphia Eagles. You have to take Darren McFadden, who I think he could actually work out in Dallas. Yes, he's been injury-plagued since he came into the league. He played for the Oakland Raiders. Raiders really aren't that strong of a line. We look at what Dallas did for Murray, how many touchdowns Murray was able to pick up. Now look at it this way. McFadden's going to have guys protecting him at all the time. He's going to be picking up a lot of carries and could have a decent amount of touchdowns this year, maybe 10.
I think Joseph Randle is going to win the starting job. I actually like Joseph Randle. I mean, honestly, I think DeMarco Murray is probably the most overrated player in all of the NFL.
Really? What?
One, because the Cowboys' offensive line never got enough credit.
Mm-hmm. They carried him.
Yeah, they carried him. He was the one who found those holes. DeMarco Murray fumbles constantly. He's not going to have the same numbers in Philly as he did in Dallas. He'll be above par running back.
But do you think because of the loss of DeMarco Murray, though, you think, Des Bryant's numbers are going to go up now? Like, they're going to be throwing the ball to him more often now?
Yeah, they're definitely going to be throwing the ball
instead of, having them run the ball as often as they do, so Tony Romo could stop throwing interceptions every every game and everything.
Well, I think Eli and Tony Romo are going to have big years. I'm talking like 4,500 yards each. One, because both of these teams can't run the ball. Well, at least the Cowboys have the offensive line to do it. It's just their runners are not as proficient. But
they have great receivers, though, with them.
Yeah, they do, so they're going to throw the ball. Exactly, Terrence.
All right. So we just gave you guys our NFL weekly updates. We're going to be doing this this whole semester. When we come back, we're going to be talking a little bit about the NBA. Yes, preseason and the regular season haven't started yet, but I think we should talk about this offseason, about which teams improved the most. But we'll be right back after this commercial break.
Rocking New Rochelle the old school way with the Rock of Ages radio